talking to you. This is the Goddess of Science, Biology, and I'm Mrs. Bolvin. And today we're going to talk about atoms, elements, and compounds. And it's the first in my biochemistry series of recordings. Okay, so this probably is a little bit of a review. So matter is composed of tiny particles called atoms, atoms. An atom is the smallest particle of matter that still has properties of that substance. For example, gold, even the smallest particle of gold still has the properties of a big old chunk of gold. So it has a nucleus in the middle, as you can see in this picture here, a nucleus in the middle. You have a couple of small subatomic particles called protons, which have a positive charge, and neutrons, which have no charge at all. So those kind of hang out in the nucleus in the center of the atom. And then outside that, and this is kind of not the best model to show, it's very familiar to a lot of people, but electrons aren't in these nice little orbitals as you see here. They're kind of just in little clouds outside of the nucleus. And electrons are negatively charged particles. Okay, so an element is a substance made of only one type of atom. For example, if you had, say for example, calcium. Calcium is an element. There's only one type of atom that makes up calcium, a big chunk of calcium. They're arranged in a periodic table of elements, and this is an old one. We've only got up to 114 in this one, but there are far more than that now. So this is kind of a nice little organizational tool, very helpful. When you get to chemistry, you'll learn lots and lots more about that. There are some that we use commonly, like for example carbon, which is C, nitrogen N, oxygen F. Hydrogen, way over here, is another really common one that we're going to talk about. So that's the periodic table. So an ion is an atom or a group of atoms that have a charge. It could either be a positive charge or a negative charge. And the reason that these occur is because they've lost or gained an electron. If an atom has lost an electron, it becomes more positive. There are more positive charges in its nucleus than electrons negative charge outside, so it becomes a positive ion. If it gains an electron, it becomes more negative. So some examples are iron, 3 plus. The 3 plus means that it has lost 3 electrons. Sulfur, 2 minus, means it's gained 2 electrons. This is nitrate, and that has all of these atoms are bonded together to make a polyatomic ion, and it is missing 1 electron, so it has a -1. And polyatomic ions can not only be negative, they can also be positive. This is the ammonium ion, and this whole group of atoms has a +1 charge. A compound is a substance made of 2 or more atoms that are chemically joined together. It can't just be like salt and sand in a container mixed together. The atoms that make up the compound have to be chemically joined to each other. Some common examples that you probably have come across before is H2O, which is water, and NaCl, which is sodium chloride or table salt. You got to be a little careful when you're recognizing compounds, because sometimes you see subscripts kind of like this little 2. The recipe or the molecule, the molecular formula, tells you how to put that together. Just like a recipe tells you how to make a cake, this tells you how many of each type of atom that you're going to need. So these little subscripts are really important because they only go with the element that's immediately in front of the number. For example, in water, there are 2 hydrogen atoms, and only one oxygen atom. Oxygen doesn't have a 1 because if you write the element there, that means that there's at least one of them. If there's more than one, then you have to put the number there. Like there's 1 sodium and 1 chlorine in sodium chloride. Okay, so let's look at sulfuric acid here. We have 2 behind this H, so that means we have 2 hydrogens. We don't have a number behind the sulfur, so that must mean we have 1. We've written it, so there's got to be at least 1. And this oxygen, there's a 4 behind it, so there must be 4 oxygen. The 4 does not, repeat, does not go with the sulfur also. It only goes with the thing that's immediately in front of it. And next time we'll talk about chemical reactions. Thanks for joining me today. Have a great day.